Okay, everybody. This is going to be a little off subject. It's not going to be about bin Laden or the conspiracy of our government. This one's going to be about an injustice to a high school boy, which I feel that everyone needs to know about because I find this totally bullshit. Like, this should not have happened. Like, okay, so I'll just go ahead and read the article that I found. Cop breaks a kid's arm and tasers him. His offense? Saggy pants. Since when was saggy pants a crime? In Derby, Kansas, high school sophomore Jonathan Verrell was walking to the bus after school when a police officer ordered him to pull his pants up above his hips. Jonathan refused on the grounds that the school day was over. Okay, school day was over. Why does he need to pull his pants up? As reported in the Wichita Eagle, here's what happened next. Verrell said one of the officers, a man who was larger than him, pulled him to the ground by the neck and told him to stop resisting arrest. Verrell denied he was resisting. Both officers kneed him in the back and neck while he was on the ground, he said. Because they were physical with him, he struggled to get up, but was pushed back down, he said. I'd be trying to get up too if somebody was shoving me to the ground, especially when I wasn't resisting. At one point, as he tried to get up, Verrell said he felt his arm break when he was pushed back down. After Verrell tried 3 times to get up, one officer fired a taser at his chest, he said. Although he was wearing a heavy coat, he still felt an electrical shock, he said. Why are you tasing a kid in the first place? He's a sophomore, which means he's probably about 16. Hello? According to the article, the police department is investigating the incident, but sadly, it illustrates a larger problem that continues to pop up around the country: the use of street policing tactics against kids. And disproportionately kids of color, for behavior that, at worst, might merit ordinary school-based discipline. Imagine that. He's not white. Around the country, police assigned to patrol school campuses where police may have a legitimate role in responding to serious criminal conduct are in immediate danger. Okay, I don't see saggy pants as being criminal, and I don't see it as being a danger. Often direct their efforts where law enforcement is clearly misplaced. This is part of a disturbing national trend called the school-to-prison pipeline, wherein children are funneled out of public schools and into the juvenile and criminal justice systems. Johnson's story is a perfect example of this larger problem. A school's right to regulate dress code is one thing, but whatever role such regulations play in a school's educational mission, they fall miles short of justifying a police officer's use of brutal force against a kid. Yeah, it was pretty brutal if the cop actually broke his arm. Every child deserves an educational experience free from inappropriate policing. Over and over again, however, a pattern emerges. Students of color are most likely to face over-aggressive policing in schools and to suffer long-lasting effects on their educational prospects as a result. Yeah, if I was colored and cops were being like that to me, I wouldn't want to go to school, and that would make me want to be a criminal more. Good job, cops! Being arrested nearly doubles the odds that a child will drop out of school, and if coupled with a court appearance, nearly quadruples the odds of dropout. An arrest also lowers standardized test scores, reduces future employment prospects, and increases the likelihood of future interaction with the criminal justice system. The ACLU is engaged in nationwide advocacy against over-policing in the classroom. One aspect of that advocacy is a case we filed with the New York Civil Liberties Union and the law firm Dorsey & Whitney, challenging the manner in which New York Police Department officers are deployed in public middle and high schools in New York City. Following years of investigation and advocacy, the lawsuit argues that a pattern of unlawful arrests, seizures, and uses of force violate the constitutional rights of students throughout New York City. Jonathan's story has disturbing echoes in our lawsuit. In New York City, kids are routinely arrested and subjected to force for behavior that arguably violates school rules but falls far short of criminal conduct. The litigation tells several of these stories. One 12-year-old girl was handcuffed and arrested for drawing on a desk an erasable marker. Handcuffed and arrested, an erasable marker. Another student, a 15-year-old girl, was painfully handcuffed and arrested for not proceeding quickly enough to detention. Are you serious? You're gonna arrest kids for stupid shit like that? My dad would have pulled me out of school if that was going on in my school when I was a kid. This is ridiculous. Our lawsuit is pending. We hope that it will lead to meaningful reforms in New York City, beyond the immediate ruling we seek from the court. We hope it has a broader impact as well. Eventually, policing in the school environment should be limited to only the most extreme circumstances, but the realm of ordinary school discipline should belong to educators, not cops. That is, that has to be the worst thing I've ever heard. And hopefully when I have kids, because I don't have any, but when I have kids, I pray and hope it's not like that when they're in school, because if it is, I'm putting them in homeschool. I will teach them myself. Because, no. Or I'll put them in private school or something, make them wear uniforms. Like, get your arm broke, you get arrested for something that stupid, get your arm broke because your pants were sagging and it wasn't during school hours. As soon as that last bell rings and you are on your way home, it is no longer school hours. It is then your time. It is that student's time. It is your time. It is no longer the school's time, so the school's rules shouldn't have to apply, especially if you're not on school grounds. That is the worst thing I think I've heard. Like, that's the worst thing I've read. And I get a lot of information from a good friend of mine, and that has to be the worst article I have seen, and the fact that it has to deal with school kids. Like high school kids. Like, oh my god, I'm so glad it wasn't like that when I was a kid. Like, I thought metal detectors and dog searches were bad, but to actually have cops patrolling the school campus and patrolling the school is even worse. Like, I went to one school where there was cops standing around. And okay, I understand if you're trying to keep fights from happening or this or that, drug deals, whatever. Kids are going to do what they're going to do. Okay, teenagers are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to get around their parents. They're going to get around their the cops. They're going to get around all of it. Like, that's so ridiculous. I can't believe that this happened in Kansas of all places. Like, that's pretty severe. But like, that's my views on it. I pray and hope that it's not like that when I have kids, because if it is, they're not going to a public school. They'll go to a private school or something. Like, I'm not gonna have my kid go through that. That's ridiculous. So anyways, that's on that note. If I find something else, which I've got a few things to look through, so I'm sure I'll find something on the whole Obama situation, and I'll post another video, guys. So there's a little food for thought and how horrible it is. Please comment. I'm sure you guys will.